live. I'm reading Prelude to the Landing on Planet Earth. I am in chapter 7 now. This is a book by STUART HOLROYD, published in 1977, and it is about a journey through the Middle East to avoid war. We are here in the early part of 1975, and this chapter is entitled A Revelation. We do not ask you to do any particular thing if you are in harmony, because one perfect being can bring it all into balance, and the three of you can make one perfect thing. This was Tom speaking, the speaker of the 9. The number 7 is central in the symbolism of the Book of Revelation. In one of the first communications with Tom in the Bahamas in June 1974, the group had learned that they were the primary hub of a worldwide plan, an organization consisting of groups of 7 working in different areas. In a number of other communications over the months, they had also learned that they would eventually have 6 co-workers. The apparent anomaly was now elucidated in the communication of 3 weeks after the one quoted above. There are 7, and we wish you to understand this. We have explained to you before that the 3 of you are 1, and that there will be 6 others. This is a core, and it is no more than 7. 6 and the 3 make 7, and at the same time make 9. If you review your Book of Revelation, we ask you to review particularly chapter number 2, because in truth the 7 are the 7 angels. Excuse me, but there are the 7 churches and the 7 angels, Andrija said. That is true. The angels are the 7 that will relate to the churches. The churches are different areas of beings and people, and it is as if you were in the center, and you had under you 6 pillars, and these pillars were giving you strength and supporting you. Do you understand that for the 3 of you to be complete here upon the planet Earth, you need 6 supports? No, we didn't realize that. And it's my cat. Andrija said, we ask you to review and to study your Book of Revelation. There are many truths, and there are many symbols, but there are more truths than there are symbols. We ask you to review and to have in your heart the openness to understand the verses 19 to 22 of chapter 2. We'll do that right after this session, Andrija said. While we're talking about numbers, what does the book refer to when it speaks about God sitting on a throne surrounded by 4 beasts and 24 elders? Is this a literal situation, or is it symbolic? It's symbolism. The 4 beasts are of the 4 corners of your world: your north, your south, your east, and your west. The 24 elders are of the civilizations. Do we deal with any of these civilizations? I'm thinking of Altia, Hoover, Aragon, and Ashand. These are among the civilizations, and they are part of the lower council. I see, Andrija said. Now, for my interest, I'd like to ask about a passage in chapter 10, the 11th verse. Speaking about the angels, it says, Then they said to me, Once again you must utter prophecies over peoples and nations, and languages and many kings. Now it seems clear to me that this means that John the Baptist comes back and has to utter prophecies. Are you not a proclaimer? Tom put in. Yes. Well, my question is, when is this process to begin? Because according to this text, it comes after the 7 trumpets, which we now understand may not have to be sounded. Tom explained. You must understand that it also involves what you call the Battle of Armageddon. The trumpets would be in the spheres. If you complete what you have to complete, that area will not affect the physical planet Earth. Then you should be a witness in explaining the nature of what had happened and how close the people came. The second chapter of Revelation contains messages to 4 of the 7 churches, and in the authorized version, the specific verses referred to by Tom read as follows: I know your works, your love and faith and service, and that your latter work exceeds the first. But I have this against you, that you tolerate the woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophetess, and is teaching and beguiling my servants to practice immorality, and to eat food sacrificed to idols. I gave her time to repent, but she refuses to repent of her immortality. In view of the interpersonal conflicts that were going on at Ossining at this time, and the discussions in the communications on the subject of authentic channeling, there is certainly no ambiguity about the relevance of this passage. Furthermore, it constitutes convincing evidence against the Andrija has as telepath explanation of the communications, for Andrija would surely not produce, either consciously or unconsciously, a reference so pertinent to a situation that he vehemently denied existed. When Andrija introduced the subject of the quotation in the course of the next session, Tom immediately said, Are you at this time of an open mind and without anger? Yes, Andrija said. We wish to speak to you, but before we do, we ask you to remember who you are, and to be guarded and forgiving. We have tried many times to nudge you gently, but now we have decided not to nudge you, but to speak directly. There is one among you, and we speak not of among the 3, but in your home, that has been a catalyst that started the whirlpool that removed one from the aura of us. Andrija and John knew immediately that Tom was referring to Colette. While they had been away in Israel, something had happened between her and another of the psychics living at Amsterdam, who had now left. Listen carefully to what we say, he continued. There is nothing cleverer in the universe than one that is looking for control of others. But remember, we do not work with those that are not disciplined. Such beings and species are used by civilizations, some of which are in service to us, but most of which are not evolved. Do you in your heart believe that a sophisticated civilization would use a being or a species that is not stable? The tragedy of your planet Earth is that throughout the years this situation has existed and has created great problems in that our work and your forerunner work and the work of others has been discredited because of lack. Oh my goodness, how long? Oh, I haven't had this for a while. I didn't see that it said battery low, and now I don't know where it stopped. Tom is talking to Andrija. We ask you not to be disturbed with us when we spoke to you of this, Tom reminded him. I'm not disturbed, I want the truth. Specifically, is the woman lying? We are explaining to you, our doctor. Well, be direct, please. Don't give us these long-winded stories, Andrija said vehemently. Tom waited for his vehemence to subside, and after about half a minute said, May we speak now? Andrija said yes, and he continued, You have many interpretations of your book. The essence is there, but there were many times when there was an error made there and here, and an error made as it was handed down, and as it was translated from language to language. Parts were lost, and parts were misguided. Now, what we said to you was that when there is a spirit world, there are situations in which things are related, and there are those who say they are something that they are not, but they are receiving it perhaps at times from another source. This is not an answer to my question, Andrija interrupted. Is the woman lying? She does not understand. This is why we have a great... Is she lying or not? Say yes or no. You are beating about the bush. We are not beating. Can a species or a being lie when they do not know what it is in themselves? This is what we have tried to explain to you. You suggested she's on a power trip, therefore she's lying, Andrija said, seemingly losing his logic as well as his temper. We have explained to you very patiently that it is a manipulation by other civilizations, and also that she in truth does not know, Tom said. This was in fact a perfectly clear and direct answer to Andrija's question, but he was not prepared to acknowledge it as such. He adopted another line of attack. May I say something very bluntly to you, please? May I speak very directly and honestly? Yes. A year ago, the being that sits before me did not know that you were speaking through her. She thought it was a spirit. She exorcised Robbie. She made all these mistakes. How do I know she's not making a mistake now in what she is translating to me? Can you prove that to me? What would you like to have as proof? Tom asked. But Andrija burst out. When I say something, would you simply say it is a lie or it is not a lie? You give me all these phony stories that leave us all confused. Don't you see how confused we are? If the woman's false, say she's false and we'll throw her out. But this way, we are not getting at the truth and you are not being fair to me. Will you understand that we are attempting? Tom said. Andrija gave up and asked John to continue the conversation. John said he thought it would be best to drop the subject and discuss it between themselves afterwards. Tom said that perhaps Andrija now understood why they hadn't spoken to him directly before. I can take any amount of straight talking, Andrija said. What I can't stand is all this bullshit. John said, Andrija, it may not be bullshit if we explore it. I'm trying to explore it, but I just don't get answers, Andrija said. If they spoke clearly, there wouldn't be any ambiguity. Well, to me, there isn't any ambiguity, Andrija, John said. So let you and I discuss it. We will leave now, Tom said suddenly, and we leave you with love, and we leave you with peace, and we will return at your convenience. Love and peace, John said, and Andrija echoed the last word rather wearily. This was not a mere ephemeral fit of temper on Andrija's part, but a genuine crisis of confidence. He shut himself away in his own room for 2 days, and would allow no one to see him. In the evening of the second day, John held a communication alone, and at the beginning of it Tom said, It is a sad time when one of us is in isolation, must go through our own purgatory. But each of us has been in that state of consciousness. It is the one aspect of your physical existence that we understand, because it is not in truth part of your physical existence, but of your soul existence. Each of us must evolve within ourselves, and we must resolve within ourselves our crises and difficulties. I was wondering what to do about the doctor's feeling that this being is distorting the channeling, John said. I'm very anxious that we should re-establish his confidence in her. Distortion is not possible, for the being is not in control, Tom said. In time all will be proven, and the truth will be made known within the soul of each. So there's nothing particular we can do? You can only love as we love. Yes, of course we do that. May we say that the greatest sorrow in the doctor is because he feels that he has been tricked, and it is his pride that is hurt. He has in fact not been tricked, either by the channel or by us. There is no black and there is no white. As we explained at the time of the communication, he must hold in his heart forgiveness and understanding, and he must remove from himself the resentments he holds against people who do not live up to his principles. And when we say this, we do not speak of either the channel or this being, but we speak of being Yud, of the being Yuri and of others. It is only in forgiving that they are returned. Tom went on to explain that Andrija, going through his personal purgatory, was a thing that was essential to the continuation of the work, and he did so in terms consistent with the general philosophy expounded in earlier communications. Many of our communications ago we explained to you that to be all positive is as senseless as to be all negative, and we also explained that the opposing forces and the negative vibrations are more powerful because they operate on emotions which temporarily create more strength than positive emotions. Because a positive emotion is a feeling and a true manifestation of love. And love is peace and calmness. It is joy within the heart, and it is steady. In each soul, in order for that soul to be balanced, it must have both of these elements, of the positive and the negative. The emotion of anger, the emotion of hate, the emotion of bitterness, the emotion of fear are powerful, damaging and devastating. But in order for a soul to evolve to a perfect balance, it must in its evolution go through all of these emotions. This time of the doctor's personal purgatory was necessary in order for him to bring the other side of himself into balance, and in order for our work to continue. So I'm stopping this here. It is sunny. Happy Saturday, May the 15th.